Hello, it's Peter here again from GetInTouchBooks.com. Welcome today. Today is Monday and the weather's pretty rough outside, but I just want to talk to you today a little bit about fasting. Now, first of all, I want to give a disclaimer here. I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a physician, and I'm not a dietitian. I have a lot of experience of psychological elements of things, including psychotherapy. So my interest in fasting is very much from the point of view of someone who's studied psychology and psychotherapy rather than someone who's studied nutrition. So the question is fasting, why do people fast in the first place? Well, there are several reasons why people fast, and traditionally religious faith groups would fast. And they would fast to clear the mind, to purify the mind, to focus on faith and that kind of thing. There's no doubt about it that actually if you eat less or stop eating and your digestive system isn't constantly overworking, it can help to clear your mind in some cases. But as part of a disclaimer, I would always say before you take on any fasting, make sure you're fit enough to do it and make the fasting reasonable. I mean, the 5-2 or the 16-8, they're reasonable fasts for most people if they're healthy, because we don't actually have to eat every 3 meals a day. That's a little bit of a misnomer. That's what they used to say, but it's not necessarily the case. But psychologically, you've got to be very careful. You see, fasting can lead on to eating disorders in some cases. So the question is, why are you fasting? Are you fasting to lose weight? Are you fasting to be healthy? Or are you fasting as some kind of discipline? Now, certainly, there's a lot of research to show that when people fast, in many cases, it does actually improve their health. And I can't, as I say, go into that in too much detail because that's in the area of medicine, which I don't particularly want to discuss today. But psychologically, fasting can help in the sense it does help to clear the mind. And also the other big benefit of fasting is it helps you to develop self-discipline, which is useful in every area of life. I believe self-discipline is a kind of a capital that you can build up. It's not something you either have or you haven't. It's something that you can develop. And fasting is a very good way of doing it. But never fast to extreme. I please implore you not to fast to extreme. Fast within your ability range. Don't fast if you're very old or you're very young and you haven't grown fully. And make sure your fasting is sensible and don't overdo it. So that'd be my basic bits of advice. Fasting isn't a bad thing and it's probably healthy in some ways, but you've got to do it within the realms of your own body and your general health. So before you go on a fasting event of any sort, check yourself up or get your doctor to check you up. Make sure you're healthy to take the fast on. That's very, very important. You see, people have a rather negative view that food is always a bad thing. We need food to survive. We need the right food. We need a balanced diet. So if you go from a fast to the wrong diet, it's actually worse almost than not fasting. And certainly in terms of putting on weight. So if you're fasting, you've got to move from fasting to a good, healthy, balanced diet with all the main foodstuffs in there. You know, the protein and the vegetables and the fruit and everything else that we're told is good for us to eat. So if you don't have a particular medical problem of any sort and you're healthy and you're not particularly old, but you want to try this, I'm not against it, but I just say be careful. And make sure you get yourself well checked out before you start. Some people do very well on fasting and it goes on for, they do it regularly throughout their lives with no ill effects, probably a lot of benefits. But please think carefully because these eating fads are coming up all the time. 1 minute it's this, the next minute it's that. And then some other piece of research shows you the opposite. But the point is we're all individuals. And we all need different things, and we all need different amounts of food. I mean, that is a fact. We do need different amounts of food. I mean, if you're working physically very hard, you probably need more calories than if you're not. So you can't just have a blanket rule for everybody. We tend to eat maybe more when we're younger. That's not so bad. But as we get older, we should eat less. because we're not as active usually as when we're younger. It's all common sense, of course it is. You know that. I know that. We all know that. So, yeah, if you want to fast, good on you. I admire you. But be careful, get advice, and do it in a progressive and sensible way. Thank you.